The wind howled like a demon, tearing at the village huts. Rain lashed down, a relentless torrent from a sky split with lightning. Fear gripped the heart of the small village, huddled beneath the fury of the storm.
The temple. I need to get to the temple.
In the heart of the village, a young man, Arjun, ran. He scrambled up the steps of the ancient stone temple, seeking shelter. The temple doors, heavy and ornate, were ajar. He pushed them open with a groan, stepping into the dimly lit interior. Incense hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the fresh, earthy scent of the rain outside. A single oil lamp flickered before the deity, casting long dancing shadows on the walls.
Finally, some peace.
Arjun sank to his knees, drawing comfort from the familiar space. He looked up, drawn by an inexplicable pull towards the inner sanctum. The air grew heavy, anticipation crackling like the lightning outside. The inner sanctum was shrouded in shadow, lit only by the faintest glimmer emanating from behind a tattered silk curtain. He hesitated at the threshold, a sense of foreboding gripping him.
Should I be here? What business do I have in the most sacred space of the temple?
He pushed the curtain aside, his breath catching in his throat. There, on a pedestal of ancient stone, rested a magnificent bow and arrow. They pulsed with an inner light, casting an ethereal glow upon the sanctum walls.
This is incredible.
He reached out, drawn to the artifacts as if by an invisible thread. The moment his fingers brushed the cool, smooth surface of the bow, a jolt surged through him. Visions flashed before his eyes, a whirlwind of images and emotions. He saw a battlefield bathed in fire, heard the clash of steel, and felt the cold dread of impending doom.
What are these visions?
Time seemed to bend and fold around him. The storm outside faded, replaced by the scent of sandalwood and chanting. He saw a wizened sage kneeling before the very same pedestal where the bow now lay. "Oh, divine beings, hear my plea. A darkness is coming, a malevolent force that threatens to consume the world. We need a protector, a guardian of Dharma." The sage, his voice old and filled with sorrow, spoke of a coming darkness, a malevolent force that threatened to consume the world. His plea rose in a crescendo, a desperate prayer to the heavens. The heavens answered. A blinding light filled the sanctum, and when it faded, a magnificent bow and arrow lay upon the pedestal. The sage, his face etched with awe and gratitude, took the weapon in his trembling hands. The prophecy speaks of a time when a young man will come to claim this weapon and become the guardian of Dharma. The vision faded, leaving Arjun reeling.
The prophecy, the weapon, the coming darkness, it's all too much. I'm just Arjun, a farmer's son, not a warrior, not a hero.
Doubt gnawed at him. Could he, a simple villager, truly be the chosen one? He was untrained, unskilled in the art of war. His hands were calloused from tilling the land, not wielding weapons.
Maybe I should just walk away. This can't be my destiny.
But even as doubt clouded his mind, a quiet strength began to stir within him. He remembered the stories his grandfather used to tell, tales of ancient heroes, of their courage and sacrifice. He thought of his village, his family, their lives hanging in the balance against the encroaching darkness. He looked again at the bow and arrow, their light pulsing with life.
I can't abandon them. I can't abandon my destiny.
He was afraid, yes, but he was also filled with a growing sense of purpose. The prophecy had chosen him. He would not shirk his duty. He reached out, his fingers closing around the smooth surface of the bow.
I am the guardian and I'm ready.
He stepped out of the temple. The storm strangely abated. The air crackled with a different kind of energy now, heavy with anticipation. And then he saw it. A swirling vortex of darkness in the distance, advancing towards the village. Raktasura, the blood demon.
The demon towered over the village, a grotesque mockery of life, its eyes burning with malevolent glee.
Fear, cold and paralyzing, threatened to overwhelm Arjun. But he gripped the bow, its power flowing into him, chasing away the fear and replacing it with a fierce determination. The battle was joined. Arjun, guided by instinct and the bow's divine power, unleashed a storm of arrows. Each arrow, imbued with the elements, fire, water, earth, and wind, found its mark, tearing at the demon's defenses.
Raktasura roared in fury, unleashing waves of dark energy, but Arjun stood firm, his resolve unwavering.
The tide began to turn. Arjun, fueled by the divine power of the bow and the righteousness of his cause, fought with the fury of a cornered tiger. He moved with a speed and agility he never knew he possessed, his every strike guided by a force beyond his understanding.
Raktasura, weakened and enraged, made a final desperate lunge.
Arjun, sensing his opportunity, drew back the bowstring, his entire being channeling the divine energy coursing through him. The arrow, tipped with a blinding light, flew true, piercing the demon's heart. A deafening roar tore through the night as Raktasura was consumed by a blinding light. When the dust settled, only Arjun remained, the bow and arrow glowing softly in his hand. He was bruised, battered, but alive. He had triumphed. Dharma had prevailed.
As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Arjun looked upon his village, his people. He was no longer just Arjun, the farmer's son. He was the guardian, the protector of Dharma.
Peace returned to the village, but Arjun knew that the battle was far from over. The defeat of Raktasura was but one victory in an eternal struggle. Evil never truly died. It merely took new forms, waiting for an opportunity to resurface.
He looked at the bow and arrow, their glow a constant reminder of his duty. He understood now that the battle between Dharma and Adharma, between righteousness and evil, was an eternal cycle. It was a battle fought not just on the battlefields with weapons of war, but also within the hearts of men.
He vowed to protect his people, his land, and the very essence of Dharma. He would train, hone his skills, and become the warrior the prophecy foretold. He would face every challenge, every threat, with courage and unwavering resolve.
He was the guardian and he would not falter.
Arjun's story is a reminder to us all. The battle between good and evil rages on, not just in ancient tales, but in our world, in our lives, every single day. We all have a role to play in this eternal struggle, a part to fulfill in the grand tapestry of existence. We can choose kindness over cruelty, honesty over deceit, courage over fear. We can stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult, even when it is unpopular. Let us all strive to walk this path, to fight for what is right, to be the guardians of our own Dharma, and together we can push back the darkness and create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come.